Ajinkya is a YC founder running a small team of 3 engineers. Unlike other founders, he believed AI is best used for front end code, but not for backend. In this conversation, he walks through his actual process, what he uses AI for, and what he doesn't. He also shares a startup idea that he would love to pay for as a customer, but that's a bit controversial.
So, by way of intro, my name is Ajinkya. I'm one of the founders here at Trellis. We provide embedded power and parallel dialers inside your sales platform. So it's a mouthful, but basically, we let salespeople place hundreds of cold calls a day to book meetings and eventually book revenue, and we let them do it inside of HubSpot, inside of Salesforce. They don't have to go to our platform, and that's the unique thing we bring to market.
So Jinky and I met during the YC days, and yeah, I guess like how did you come across this idea? Can you like tell everyone about like
Yeah,
that story?
yeah. And for context for everyone, we had a support group for people who were the what we call the outcasts of YC at the time. We were in pivot hell, as many of us were. But I think the way we navigated pivot hell is, and I don't know if it was the right approach, but it was an approach. We messaged everyone we could find on LinkedIn, random people, like people I had never met. We mostly messaged like functions we knew about. So think like people in sales, think people in like HR, people in operations. And then at some point, the real answer is some sales influencer told us that cold calls were making a comeback, and we had been in the maze for too long, and so we stuck to it. The one thing me and my co-founder are good at are we're very stubborn people, and so once we thought like, yeah, maybe there's something here, we just kind of rolled with it for the next 3 years. So that's how we operate. I think in retrospect, did we make a hasty decision? Yes, but you have to make decisions when you play the startup game, and that was the decision we made. So yeah, that is how we got here.
Love that, and love to see you sticking with it for these past couple of years. All right, well, let's jump into it. I think the meat of this pod is really to talk about AI workflows and talk about how founders and operators are actually using AI and kind of like beyond all the noise that's going on Twitter.
Yeah,
So yeah, I guess Jinky, what are we going to learn today from you?
for sure. So I think the big thing, honestly, is from like AI code gen. I think it's one of those things where it's underrated in the sense of it's really, really effective for small teams. So if you're a team of four, it's super easy to leverage in your code base because you own the whole code base. Like I own the whole front end, my co-founder owns the whole back end, and so I have full visibility into like anything that goes on. And anyone who's used these AI code gen tools knows that the code's all right. It's not like what you get from like a L5 at Google or something like that. It's just definitely not at that level. And so there's some level of like you don't get held up from like PR hell review because you own the code base, and so you can really work fast. So that's kind of the way to think about it. I think there's a couple of rules over the road which are test like a lot front end. That means like you literally click thousands of buttons. That's what like to me that's real testing. And then you know you have to have good data schemas and database design. Like some stuff you must do as the human, and then the other stuff you kind of rip it with AI. But yeah, I mean, what we can probably do here is I'll share my screen. I'll kind of show you how I use Claude Code, and then we can, maybe this is a good running ad for Claude.
Yeah.
I've churned off Cursor. I'm a total churner from them, so I have no loyalty. So if they want to buy my loyalty in some way, they're happy to do it. But Claude Code is where my heart is at right now.
Wait, so let's take a look. Wait, so you're not using cursor at all?
Yep. Yep.
All
Not at
right,
all.
all right. Let's take a look and peel back the curtain a little bit. Okay,
Let's do it.
do you mind screen? Do you mind doing a screen
Let's
share?
do it. All right. Let's see how we do that here. There we go. Is it? Should I choose presentation or screen?
Let's see. I
All
think
right,
you
I'm just
can
gonna try
probably.
screen.
All right, go for it.
All right, cool. All right, so left-hand side, we've got our beautiful website from Trellis, and then right-hand side, I've opened up a terminal. The basics of literally all you're basically going to be doing is you're going to type in Claude here, and then we are going to interact with the system to figure out what we want to do. So a lot of what will end up happening in Trellis is, one of our competitors is going to have some sort of, report that they cared about. They're going to, care about, like, hey, if I can have this setting to control, how can I adjust that? like almost like stuff that is at the level of, a support center article.
Mhm.
So all of that is like immediate stuff that they want to go and adjust and edit for themselves. These are things if you're a team of like effectively 3 engineers where one person does the front end, one does the back end, and the other sort of like does harder, like longer term projects. Like I don't have the time or ability to like go change a button color, right? So, or like really just like design some layouts for pages. Like there's just not enough time in the day to do that for us. And so effectively what we're going to do here is, I think a couple of things. So let's say we wanted to go edit the support page. Classically, what I'll go do is I'll like literally just talk to it. You'd literally talk to it like as a human being, which are, on the support page, let's build out some additional, like let's build out a support article view that are longer form instead of the FAQs. Do it in the following way. 1, create a template component for standard support articles. Like this is if I was like literally dictating to, someone on my team how to go
Yeah.
design this, I would, create a template component, create a config file with some standard, like where we can put some standard support article info. And then this is very important. Make it look really nice and do not fuck up. I cannot emphasize.
Wait, all right.
I cannot emphasize how important that last step is.
This is. I think this is I would say like a pretty common discussion topic. I actually really want to get your take on it.
Yeah.
I think some people that kind of believes in the school of thought you need to be very nice to AI, and some people are, hey, you need to be very like as mean to AI as possible. Like it seems like you have like opinion on this.
Yeah, I'm gonna get murdered the first thing when the thing is I'm definitely gonna get murdered. Like there's no way around it. Like that's just about to happen.
But do you actually find it? Do you actually find it perform better when you're
yeah? I think like so. I think the real answer is it makes me happier. It's fucked up, but like I'm not trying to be nice to this thing. I grow frustrated with it, and so I yell at it. I would never do this with another human being, which there's a lot to be said about that on a philosophical level, but it gives you a good way to vent when it fucks up.
Yeah, no, I get that. Trust me, I've done my fair share of being mean to the AI, but I'm just curious.
And the way I think about this almost is like, because I'm using this, I'm willing to like I'm willing to like really hardcore code for like 14 hours a day. Otherwise, I think you would get burnt out like repeatedly doing that day in and day out. And so you can maybe not have as much of a gradient optimized method of messaging the AI, but if you feel good about it, you should go with it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Cool. All right. So, we let the thing do its thing. It's important that in the initial phases, you watch what it's doing so that it doesn't fuck up. So like an example here where I screwed up right now is I'm kind of letting it go figure out where the support stuff is. Like that's a huge fuck up. So like you don't want to give it willy-nilly. You want to like really point it to files. So let's say I like want to make sure it's touching this route. What I would do then is like figure out where the support component currently comes from by looking at the routes in index.txx, which I obviously know is where my routes are, /support. And now, it knows to look there, and so it will figure out the component. So like these are just like small little things that like when you haven't used the tool, you kind of like talk to the AI, but you don't forget to like restrict its scope. So now it's going to like write I can see that it's looking at the right component. So I'm going to be like, all right, seems like a pretty reasonable to-do set of things that you're doing. Just 1, 2, 3, 4. So, you kind of let it do its thing. If you're really trying to be, ambitious, you can use what are called workspaces, or I think it's work trees. I forget the exact name inside of Git, which lets you basically create a separate. It basically creates another like file directory on your local file directory that points to a different branch, so you can start a separate Claude Code session. So that is like a second thing you could go do.
When do you decide to use the is it Git tree, or Git branch?
Yeah, it's like Git branch is creating another branch. It's let's just look it up. It's like Git workspaces, I think, or it's Git work tree. Yeah, there you go. You can it's like Git work tree or something like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Classically, I'd never remember git commands. I just kind of like look them up, right? So
Yeah.
now I'm gonna like see this, and I'm gonna like kind of look at it real quick, and be like, do I like this? No, doesn't seem like crazy. You like read through it a little bit. All right, on first pass it's fine. So like that's almost like when you I think when there's like parts of your app that are a little sloppy, it's like like the support center where you just need to make sure that articles are easy to find and you can like click a bunch to like test it. You can kind of go with it. If I really wanted to be clever there, I could like make it do more manual stuff here. But that's kind of the high level how to think about it.
And this is for, and maybe just for context, this is the
Yep.
support center within your app, or is
Correct.
this within your landing page?
Correct. This is within the app.
Gotcha. And what you're doing right now is you are trying to add another like support article to
like more like
yeah.
longer form content, like how do I use Trellis and stuff like that instead of like these quick questions, because people really want guides, right? So like an example here that I probably want to do is like, actually I want to be able to embed images easily, right, like I want to be able to embed images easily throughout a sort of a step-by-step walkthrough guide for these support articles. Make it easy for me to do that. No, just can't kill it its thing. This is also super important, which is, you can essentially stream of thought your way with these things, which are, if you see it fucking up, stream of thought your way. But yeah, I mean, a lot of what I will say when you're doing AI stuff is you're waiting for the AI to do its thing.
What do you do with your time when you're waiting?
I go and comment on LinkedIn, or I do phone calls, or I like do support, or honestly, what I actually do is I write other code while it's writing my other code here. So I have like three like main repos that we work across. So while the AI is writing like on one of the repos, I'll start writing for another feature that I want to start building on another repo. So like an example is like, let's say I want to, start thinking about the backend database schema for this. Like I'm going to open up our Python library and then I'm going to go to like our database schema. So like maybe I want to like, I mean, I think this is pretty stupid to do, but maybe I wanted to like keep it on a table or something, all the support article information. For context, that's a really stupid design decision. If you're a small team, you should just like totally upload it to their front end repo. But like, if you had multiple team members that needed to upload support articles, maybe you need a CMS or something. So these are like small little things that you can effectively start kind of getting ahead of when you're sort of using the AI. And then let's see what it cooks up here.
And what has been, I guess, like, what has been your biggest challenge, just like adopting this workflow so far in terms of using Claude Code?
Yeah, so the biggest challenge is like it totally messes up like a lot. Like you can't really control that. Like it will just totally mess up time to time. And so your big challenge is like, one, not growing frustrated, two, making forward progress. The basic challenge is if you scope a project that's too large, you will never make correct forward progress on it. And like the AI is probably, I mean, there's probably AI tools out there that can like correctly do large projects, but in general, you need to like isolate your project into something that's a lot more chewable. So example things that AI is like going to write really, really bad code for. Number one is it will be really bad at writing like, abstractions and like how people should navigate your tools. So a good example is, especially when you write React code, it tends to like pass down props like crazy through components. It tends to not use like navigational routes. It tends to do what you're seeing here, which is like be really stupid and not properly build things. So we're going to get this fixed. This will be fun. So just like a lot of like general stuff that I find to be pretty dumb, to be honest, that it will do. I think there's like clever hacks that you can basically isolate and make it better for. So one, all data structures and all like how data is passed through your system. Like if you're using a Redux store or you're using something like that, you must write all the code for that. I mean, you must not, you don't have to, but like I think you should, so you understand like how data is represented either on your front end or back end. You should write the interfaces for posting, getting, and all of that sort of thing on your end, so you understand like you just don't want to like risk an AI writing that. That's number two. And then number 3, I think, is you pretty much like need to isolate it to, you need to explain the file structure and the component structure that you want it to use.
And are any of these? I think the data model design is pretty
Yeah.
interesting. So do you always kind of like design data model from scratch yourself, or do you do some kind of like AI assisted data model design?
Sorry.
Do you always do like data model design yourself, or do you kind of collaborate with AI to come up with a data model?
I usually just come up with it myself, to be honest.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I just kind of like come up with it, and I'm opinionated about it, and I'm like, this is the data model, to be
Yeah.
honest. Yeah.
I guess like if you are
I won't
tackling,
define it for like stupid stuff, right? Like this
yeah,
like article thing, like I don't really care, to be honest.
yeah. Yeah, I guess if you are, especially, I think this is also something I noticed myself too. If you were to try to like bite off too much with AI, I think it just not gonna do what you want it to do. I think instead it's just performs way better when you have it do like kind of piece by
Yep.
piece, like
Yep.
smaller tasks.
Yep.
How do you go about like task planning? I think that's another like pretty top of mind thing for me as I'm like working on these like AI code bases is like trying to keep track of like kind of breaking down like a larger like objective into like smaller like
Yep.
tasks and coming up with a plan. Like how do you think about that, and what's your workflow around there look like?
Yeah, I mean, the basic answer is, how should I put it? Like I have 10 features that I have to do. I mean, I will never work on like features that are like extremely large unless they're on the weekend, to be honest. That's number 1. Number 2, um, most of the stuff that I use for the AI is like cosmetic or like, make this like look nice is kind of the real answer. And then I think for larger projects, it's sometimes hard to like do small isolated things, but like I'll give you an example, right? Like if I'm doing analytics, I can probably like I can probably get it to like make a really nice tile, and then I can then inject the data in myself. Those are like small things I can do, right? So like it is just phenomenal at UI. Like unless you're a designer yourself, it is a plus at design, and so you should just have it like design your front end, and then you can like define the props or like how the data shows up, use a bunch of dummy data, use a bunch of dummy hooks if you need to, and then you can just wire it at the end yourself if you need to. That's like
what
almost how to think about it.
what do you regarding UI, like what's your UI workflow look like? Do you hook it up with like a component library, or what's
Nope.
your
I just say I like it or I don't like it.
but how do you keep it consistent across your entire app?
Reusable components, typography for like the same fonts.
Yeah. So you basically like have like do you have like a claude.md file that kind of points
Nope.
to what?
I'm just like use the font, dude. So one of the greatest things is it's like Claude Code. I feel like kind of if you tell it to use Tailwind and React, there's like standard boxes it generates.
What do you mean, like in a good way that kind of fits your app?
Yeah, it kind of like I feel like it like looks at the app and
Yeah.
like kind of like always generates boxes that kind of like when you hover like do this.
I mean, this your UI looks pretty solid to me, dude.
This all it was like designed by an AI, dude. My UI was horrendous when I personally made it myself. Like I can't explain how bad it was.
We need to see a before and after picture.
Dude, I will send you one, but it was just like unbelievable. Like I couldn't believe that was what we put out into the world.
So okay, so in terms of your UI workflow, so it sounds like your process is basically like literally prompting it with Claude Code, and it
Yep.
do you like provide it any like sketches, or
Nah.
you like how do you kind of get it to look the way that you want it to?
When I say like look nice, that's what I say. Like I
Really?
literally say like look nice, minimalistic, like a SaaS app. And it's pretty good at that.
That's fair.
One of the nonsense things I think people do is they try to make it do too much and try to over design it. The AI knows better than you unless you're a designer.
Huh, interesting.
And then you can kind of obviously like think through it, right? Like, you can think through where your buttons should be. You can think
Yeah.
through like how tabs and sidebars should be.
In that case, you just move things around yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it's also like like I think this is why you should short Figma as a company, right? Like you can just be like, put my sidebar on the left hand side. I want to see what it looks like. You know,
Yeah.
and like you can just do that. I mean, it's gonna look horrendous. I'm gonna tell you that. Maybe it doesn't. You know, let's try it out.
Let's try it. Yeah, I think to be honest with you, I think personally I've been having a lot of challenges with just
Yep.
like UI. I don't know if it's because like I have a specific vision for how I want things to be. So like when the AI doesn't align with like what I wanted, I try to like finagle with it and try to get it to look the way I want, rather than just accepting, hey, whatever comes out of the AI is like good enough.
Yep.
So I find myself spending a lot of time kind of like wrestling with
It's like
that.
it's like what are you trying to do? You know what I mean? Like, are you trying to like I think you shouldn't accept slop, but like there's a point where a SaaS app is basically like going to be good enough for what your user needs. Like our users really just need to see these numbers.
Yeah,
They don't really care like if it has this like a nice like twirl on it or something. Like they just care to see this number.
that's true.
Right?
Yeah.
Like Excel is an ugly, ugly, ugly piece of software. No one leaves Excel. You should think about that hard.
It's good advice. I think as long as it gets the job done, I guess.
All right, let's see what this ugly thing looks like now. You know.
Wait, where is it? Is it showing?
No, it's about to.
Okay,
You can,
it's
yeah.
building. Dude, to be honest,
See?
you're
It's so ugly,
wait, where's how's that different from before?
dude. It's like the sidebars on the left hand side. Wait, this is like
Without
so ugly. Can you not see that on my
uh,
screen?
I guess the blue sidebar.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I was testing to see what it would look like if you had a regular sidebar on the left hand side.
Oh, and it was on top, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, maybe I feel like there is potential here. You know what I mean? There is potential.
It's not the worst I've seen, to be honest with you.
There is potential. Like
Yeah.
it's not horrible. I'm actually, obviously there's a lot of work that needs to be done. Like now, this is where if you want to do screenshots, this is how you do it. All right, I'm going to show you a world class screenshot move in action. So you take a screenshot, you go to your file system, you go to the screenshot, wait for it to load, and then you basically come here. You're like, this looks fucking horrendous. Please fix. But I do like. There you go.
That's not too different from my workflow.
But that's the workflow.
I do
I'm not
use a lot of
see,
suggestions.
see the thing is I'm not opinionated. I just tell it the gradients I give it are very bad, horrendous, or very good.
Yeah.
And that's the only human feedback it gets.
That is funny. I think this is a pretty helpful mindset, honestly, for me, because I think I tend to be a bit more anal about like how UI should look. So I think I spend probably more time than I should wrestling with the UI, rather just like, you know what? If the functionality is there and it looks like mostly okay, let's ship it.
Yep. See, I think this looks pretty bad. So now I'm gonna
Now this like light this
yeah, but
weird
now it's
light
basically
color.
trying to. You can tell it's like starting to fix up a little bit if you keep refreshing.
Uh-huh.
Like it'll keep getting a little bit better, you know. And then there's another trick that also exists if you really want, which is the issue about the gradient descent approach when you're like making it do a bunch of changes is like it like may make too many code changes. So one of the things I do is I will actually start one branch that goes all the way, and then I do a second branch that like I take screenshots from that first branch and then I have it recreate it in a much cleaner way with a better design scheme after I figured out what I want to do.
Oh, interesting.
So
So how
like
would
one of the
that
things is like I'll give you a good examples. Like maybe I didn't really understand like when I was building that whole like support article or whatever. Maybe I didn't actually like understand how I wanted it to work. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
like I did a bunch of stuff and then I'm like, this is actually like pretty bad. So in that world, what I would probably do is I would be like, all right, I feel like I've done this for like an hour. This is actually what I want. Like I'll basically mess around with the AI, kind of working around with it to like figure out what am I actually trying to like build on this website that really works. And then after I have a clear idea of that, like maybe the AI has already done it well, but if I have a clear idea of that, then I'm just going to take a couple of screenshots potentially. And then I may start another branch and actually give it the screenshots and like the exact design paradigm and how to write the code based off what I saw it do earlier. Like that's an option. I think the biggest rule is like you can't kind of like leave it off to do its thing. It's gonna like make some pretty ugly stuff, like what's on the left hand side over here. Like it got better, you know what I mean? It got better, but it's still pretty ugly. Um, and so like you can't leave it to do its thing. You have to like you got to be like what I call click optimizing at all times. So you got to be like thinking about, all right, I'm the user. How am I going to get to analytics? Am I going to understand to use these filters? Am I going to like know to click here, like, and then you better spam your system like crazy, like click everywhere like 1,000 times, and you'll figure out like, you know, maybe we should put this button, maybe we should do this. Like, I don't know. Like, I know enough people who like they build UIs, but then they don't click their own UIs. The biggest telltale sign of a person who has failed in clicking UIs is if you click on something and then something drags you out.
Wait, what does that mean?
Huh?
What does that mean?
So like if you so a classic thing is like, you know, if you have like a list of transcripts or something. I know people who have built transcript viewers that instead of like pulling out like that, they like they like will open up an embedded viewer. You know what I mean? Like a pop-up modal.
Oh,
And they were
interesting.
like, "Oh, that looks really cool and nice." And I'm like, "Have you used your software?" Right? Like the way most people actually look at transcript viewers is they click between transcripts. It would be so fucking annoying to like do that if you were in a pop-up modal. So like, there's like simple things like that that look great in practice, but clearly tell me you've never clicked around in your own tool. And so like, that's actually like the most important thing, which is you need to be able to like click around, do the thing you want, right? Like an easy example here is like, all right, let me find some better data. I'm going to filter for calls that are from this set of users. All right, so, you know, if I see this now, like I'm a user, like I actually just want to see like all my call history. I want to get auto scroll to it. Like there's like little things like that that you
Yeah.
want to use. You want to like easily click into calls, listen to them, but like unless you're someone who like actually clicks around a bunch on your software and puts what looks like production, like actual real production grade like data in it, not production grade, but like actual real data in it, like you will never know how to use your own platform.
What are some how do you think your role has changes? Kind of like I guess like given like just like your relationship like coding with AI now. Like how has your I guess like role
Yeah,
changed because of that?
I think the scope has expanded. Um, so I think you can basically compete effectively with a team that has 50 engineers because
It's like
they have to go through PR review, and I don't. I mean, that's not like a bad thing, but like we go through PR review in the sense of like no security risks, and we run like automated tests. But like they have to go to PR review to like make sure their code is cleanly commented. And
and
imagine trying to comment that right there,
yeah.
dude. I would hate my life.
But you don't think AI can just like do auto commenting and annotations?
Maybe it does, but then you got to go read it.
Yeah. I think this is another thing I heard. Like just like AI code review is becoming like a pretty big bottleneck for
Yeah, no, that maybe that gets
some
solved,
companies.
but like I
Yeah,
think my guess is like if you're in a strict PR environment, that's your real bottleneck, and there's definitely ways around it. But like I think I think like a company the scale of obviously like Facebook and Google has like insanely good automated testing infrastructure that like it's probably safe to like let people use, you know, AI code, if that makes sense. Maybe
yeah.
it's not that safe, but like I don't know, take a random Series A and Series B company. How many of them do you know that have like good automated testing infrastructure? Probably zero.
How do you go about like testing right now?
Yeah, so I am like I think a couple of rules. Backend, you gotta be really religious about great tests because like that's basically where all your risks lie. Like, you know, you can't like actually do like DB like mishaps and anything like that. Like you got to be super secure on your backend. And then I think it's like backend. I don't really use AI to be honest.
Interesting.
I don't like trust it enough. I look at it as like an untrustworthy source. Like, would you trust? You'd be fine. Like think about like almost as an integrate. Like if you're providing an API, like an external API, right? You would never like have the AI write your API, but like you assume that the people who use your API are like what trusted but verify or something like whatever like that notation is. That's like how I think about AI code, and like your front end is generally like if you have the right security model on the back end and the data protections on the back end, like it's kind of hard to like mess it up unless you're like storing like real sensitive data on the front end, which you should just not be.
Yep. Gotcha.
Yeah, and in which case it's like almost you can just think about the front end as like a data transform. Like it takes in information from the back end and like recomposes it. But like the reason I say this is like AI will totally abuse your system. Like it'll call if it has to. It'll call your back end APIs like 1,000 times in a second, and you better be like invariant to that.
How do you implement your tests? Do you write them manually still, or do you have like kind of AI come up with
So I think for
tests?
backend tests those get written manually.
Yeah.
I think front end tests are kind of like silly to write at our stage.
Do you but do you find yourself like I guess like one pain point I have is like when you are kind of like clicking around when you are doing these things. I think a lot of times it's really just like kind of regression testing. You're just like preventing like making some UI changes and break something else. Do you literally just like manually click through a lot of that right now?
Yeah, I pretty much click through everything. Like that's a realistic answer. Like I just click a bunch. Like I'm a chronic clicker, as they call it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. So shifting gears a little bit, this is really helpful. I'm curious, maybe kind of like beyond Claude Code, what are some of your and if you want to stop sharing now, thanks for sharing this. Beyond Claude Code, are there like what are some other AI tools you've been trying lately? And I'm curious, like what has kind of like caught your attention?
Yeah, for sure. So I think a couple of major ones are. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm not a like I've tried a bunch of the tools. I tend to use mostly like I mean I'm mostly coding or I'm on LinkedIn to be honest. So like there's not like a lot of opportunity for a lot of tools to be used by me. I use ChatGPT a bunch to be honest. Like I don't use Google anymore.
Is that the main like chatbot you use?
Yeah, I think ChatGPT is like pretty good, but I secretly use it in like playground mode, which is like if you're a developer with OpenAI, like anyone can be a developer with OpenAI, but if you are, you can go to the playground and then you can choose which model you want to talk to.
Why do you use that instead of the normal chat interface? Is it just because the model's
Oh, I just like don't trust that it's like thinking smart enough.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. But the only time I'm going to it is like there's a really hard technical question, like technical solve that I don't know how to do, and I'm like, how do you do it? And I try to get like GPT-5 with high reasoning mode to like one shot it for me.
Oh, gotcha.
You cannot get that on ChatGPT unless you put the word reason in it, and it's like I'm not gonna go do that.
Interesting. Yeah. You don't really try out like other like I think one workflow I noticed myself doing a lot is like I ask basically Claude, ChatGPT, and Gemini the same question at the same time.
Interesting. Yeah,
I do that a lot.
I just kind of assume my questions aren't that difficult, and I just go to ChatGPT.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, like I just assume they're like unless I'm like asking for like coding, I'll test out different tools if one of them can't figure it out, but testing not really. Yeah,
gotcha.
Not really. Yeah.
All right. Last part of this section. Do you have any spicy? Do you have any hot takes on AI?
I know. We were talking. Oh, hot takes on AI.
Yeah.
It's like both overvalued and undervalued. I don't know. It's like not a hot take, but like it's obvious to me that if I described what I was doing to myself 2 years ago, like this would sound stupid. Like it'd really sound fucking stupid. Like it'd be like, dude, so you spend all day talking to an AI bot and refreshing a website. Like what do you like that's how you're building like software? Like that's like the dumbest thing I could ever like it just like sounds dumb. And that's just like the reality of what a lot of people are doing. So I think that's like you gotta sometimes relish in that like that's kind of crazy, even though we've normalized it. And then I think the hot takes are the companies that are effectively replacing labor. It is so impossible to value them.
Interesting. Can you say more about that?
right? Like I think people like estimate SaaS markets by like software spend. And when you're talking about replacing it, like for example, if I pay $80,000 to like some sales rep, it becomes pretty material when I think about spending $1,000 a month. Not about that, maybe like $1,000 a year on software for them. It's not like material, but it like I think about it in more material terms, and I'm pretty sensitive to that cost. But like if I'm like, you don't need to have that rep, but give me 10K, like you're signing that quickly.
Yeah. I mean,
Obviously if it works, but like it's like the amount of spend that is possible to get and acquire from these companies that do labor spend arbitrage is like I I think it's like pretty hard to value because it hasn't really rippled through the market. Like I don't think most companies have actually like fired. They've just kind of paused hiring to an extent.
yeah.
And so you haven't seen it really drive through, but like I think when that spend fully reallocates, especially for like entry level white collar jobs, like it's pretty gnarly to think about.
Yeah, I mean, there's this whole wave of AI SDR companies, that kind
Yeah.
of came through. But honestly, I don't know. I don't know if like what's your take on that because you're pretty close to the space. But I honestly don't really know anyone. I know a bunch of people tried it, but I don't know if anyone has actually seen a like very positive ROI from it.
Yeah, for sure. I think in general, it's like one of those things where sales is a pretty bad function probably for like replacing human labor because like the tactic changes so often. I bet AI will take over at some point in the sense of
Yeah,
like there's four functions that a SDR does, which are, maybe they figure out the contacts to go after, they email them, they call them, and they like LinkedIn message them.
yeah,
Those are like realistically the four activities that they do. And they like obviously do that in some sort of cadencing or sequencing. I don't understand why an AI won't do everything but the calling. The calling is literally just illegal to do. So like it's like the AI can just. I mean, you could have an AI do it, but like the FCC is going to have a field day, or like some lawyer is going to have a field day with you. So like I would guess you're not going to do it. And so realistically, like I don't see why. Like there's so many companies that are coming on the contact side. There's so many companies that are coming on the email side. Like someone will crack the nut. It's obviously a hard nut to crack. And sales is one of those things where, you know, with humans, it's hard to like just turn on and off spend. With tools, if the tool doesn't return you 2x ROI that quarter, you'll just turn it off. So like it's like the tool almost has to like perform. While when you do workflow replacements, where like it's an intake call or something, like you kind of do it once and the thing works, and like you don't really have to think too much about it. So I think it's like the mechanisms by which sales software is rewarded is a lot harder to achieve because there's things that are out of your control.
what do you think is the bottleneck there? What do you think are the bottleneck to truly make
I
something
don't
like
think
the
there's
AI SDR
bottlenecks.
to work?
Dude, I think those companies are ripping.
Really?
Yeah. I think if you looked at their revenue charts, like there's a ton of churn, but like there's a ton of top line growth. So there's a clear, like whatever people are saying, there's a clear appetite in the market for it.
For sure, there's an appetite for it, but do you actually believe it's working?
I don't know if it's. I think it'll get better.
Are you using it yourself?
Um, no, because we just mostly do cold calling, but I can't like toot it, but I think it's also like not well calibrated if you're a startup founder.
Why is that?
Like if I'm building one of those companies, I'm targeting like Oracle.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, I see.
why are you building why are you building an AI SDR for a company that hires maybe one SDR? It's like
Yeah.
and so the workflows are really built around your Salesforce data, your HubSpot data, and like I think they're if you're going to be a solo founder trying it, I think you're going to have a pretty shit outcome to be honest. I think if you're like Oracle trying it, yeah, man, I think you're going to get something.
Gotcha. So you have enough data to work with that can kind
Yeah,
of
yeah. And I think you basically the LinkedIn community is crowded by people's opinions who work at like less than 100-person companies. Because like if you're an SDR manager at Oracle, you're like probably not posting on LinkedIn because Oracle will probably fire you.
interesting. That's a pretty interesting take. So I guess like maybe the takeaway here is you actually are pretty bullish on these AI SDR companies, and it seems like they're actually doing better than most people think.
I suspect. I don't actually know
Yeah.
there. I'm just obviously like shooting hot air, but like I suspect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. No, very cool. All right. Let's move on to the last section of the
Let's do
pod,
it.
which is idea brainstorm.
Let's
We
do
kind
it.
of talked about it a little bit before the pod, but do you have any fun startup ideas that you're willing to share?
Yeah, I think top of mind for me is, all right, I'll pay if anyone builds this, I'll go pay it for you. But if you give me a tool that gets a license and logs into my competitor's software and then just tells me what new features are coming up or things I should think about when you diff their software against mine, you're good to go in my books. You'll get $1,000 a month right there, which should cover
How
some of your license costs.
how are you doing this? Are you do how are you
I
do
mean,
how are
you,
you
you
like
kind of
not doing this then?
organically get it, right? You
Yeah.
like follow your competitors on LinkedIn, you see what they post about, you look at their
Yeah.
websites, like everyone's doing it. Like everyone who's like doing it in SaaS is doing it. It's like they're taking demos. They're like their inbound demos like tell them why they're choosing a competitor over them. So you like find out what feature you're missing or what UI UX thing you're kind of not doing right. But like imagine just had an AI continuously taking screenshots and telling you what is going on in that product.
I to be fair, I actually did that a good amount. I mean, like every company does it, but like I actually did that a good amount at HeyGen, just like
Yeah, yeah.
kind of like researching competitor products. It's honestly just like a full time job by itself.
So it's so long. Imagine you wanted to learn about it. Imagine you wanted to learn about what software should you build in the trucking space, Kevin. I could just be like, ChatGPT, tell me the 9 best trucking software companies. Cool. Or trucking software like that exists. I don't personally know what these pieces of software do. I could go read a description online, or I could have an AI go get licenses to them and log in and try to click a bunch of buttons and be like, this is what I think it actually does. This is where the useful workflows are. This is where I think they have issues. Imagine how much gold there would be if it told you what workflows it thought were bad on that tool that you can just go build yourself and go sell against them.
Yeah, I think it might work well for kind of like more self serve
Yeah,
things where you can just literally have
for
like a
sure, for
browser
sure, for self-serve. Yeah, yeah.
have
But
like a
I
browser agent that
suspect
does
someone
that.
can build a broad network and like go purchase licenses and then have their AIs be using the software.
Like, do you think like the AI would like take demos or like because like
No,
I
dude,
mean
no, no. I mean, obviously, I don't know the legality of all these things because
yeah
you sign terms and services. But like, who knows? Um, I bet there's a company out there that can just set up LLCs that like go and purchase. Like, no one's like not trying to sell you their software. You can go buy software online by taking a meeting, and you go buy it for like $1,000 or $2,000, like a couple licenses, and then
yeah,
you have a login.
and you basically you just have like an outsourced team.
Yeah, and like you just don't trace that LLC back to yourself.
You basically just like take meetings all day.
Yeah,
You
and
buy
like
software.
how is like
Yeah.
how is that competitor going to know which of their 1,000
No.
customers is this AI bot? Like I don't know. Seems like an impossible task to figure that out.
Yeah. I guess like once your software gets smart enough, maybe there's like some behavior you can trace back
Yeah,
to
but
like,
then,
oh,
like
this is
you
like
really got to be
that's
like
pretty
daring
yeah.
enough. Like who cares that much? You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Man,
It's a pretty
that
heinous
is
idea, but you know.
I mean, I would say it's a pretty high demand idea. Literally, like the fact that I spent so much time doing
No,
that
dude,
at a
it's every
previous company.
founder we know like does this like 20% of their day is like thinking about. Imagine how much mind share that occupies in your mind, and someone's like $1,000, I can help with that mind share. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, honestly, maybe even as an MVP, just like having like
Yep,
something that kind of like scans like your competitors like Twitter
yep,
or even
yep,
ads that they're like
yep,
launching if they're like
yep.
more in the consumer space or something that could be like probably helpful. But that's a good idea. That's a good idea.
It's the one I thought of.